Welcome to One Chemistry. Always do your best. Now, let us see about SN1 and SN2 reaction. These reactions are very basic in organic chemistry. You should know very clearly. We will learn very simply from football. Curious? Stay tuned. First, we will see what is really SN1 and SN2 means. Then we will learn some basics. Then we will understand by its difference. Then I given some tricks to remember SN1 and SN2. At last, we will see the important thing, which is the factor influencing SN1 and SN2. Let us see the football. The important thing you should know is how many people are making goal. Whether one guy make the goal directly or two guys are participating in the goal. This will help you to understand our mechanism. You should know whether one guy made a goal or two guys are made the goal. So let us apply the same concept to chemistry. If one guy made the goal, it is straightforward, which is called SN1 reaction, meaning one molecule give the product. If two guys are making the goal, it is called SN2 reaction, meaning two molecule give the product. So if one molecule give the product mean SN1, two molecule give the product mean SN2. So let us understand what is literally SN1 mean. The S here represents substitution. N here represent nucleophile, which is negative charge. Here 1 and 2 represent whether it is unimolecular or one molecule involving or not, or bimolecular, two molecules are involving or not. So the only difference is 1 and 2, which represent the order of the reaction. Before we get into the detail, we will see what is rate determining step. Here we see the hypothetical reaction, which is A to B, B to C. So A to B is very slow, which is 10 hours. B to C is like 1 minute, which is faster. So A to B is slow, B to C is faster here. Let us understand this example little more detail. The same reaction in example 1, the first step is constant, which is 10 hours. The second step is 1 minute. So the total time approximately 10 hours. If it is the same second example, which is 10 hours, again the step 2 is 5 minutes because it's faster, doesn't matter, same 10 hours. The example 3, the second step is 10 minutes, the same 10 hours doesn't matter here. So the second step doesn't matter. So the rate determined by the slow step of the reaction. So the step 2 doesn't matter. So it is very clear, slow step determines the rate of the reaction. So the number of species involved in the slow step is called order of the reaction. If one molecule involved is SN1, two molecule involved means it's SN2. The next basic is planarity and steric effect. Steric effect means crowded. Crowded means it's like you cannot drive a car in the crowded place. Like same thing happen in chemistry. Very crowded molecule reaction won't be happen. Here planarity playing the crucial role. In the second molecule, the structure is tetrahedral, but the back side is very crowded by hydrogen atom. Here also the steric effect. So the steric effect and planarity playing the important role in this kind of reactions. The third example is the cation. Cation normally it's planar. Moreover, the cation cannot form in the bridges because the bridge cannot go plane because bridged carbon atom is very rigid. So planarity normally promote SN1. Non-planarity normally promote SN2. For SN2, backside attack is the only way. Let us really go into the reactions. So SN1 reaction. The first step, the reaction is alkyl halide. The forms carbocation and bromine anion. This step is very slow. Why? Because you are converting neutral species into charged species. It is very much unstable, that's why it's slow. Second step is fast. Why? Because the positive and negative ion is combining. So second step is fast. So we can very clearly see rate determining step determined by only one molecule, which is alkyl bromide. So that's why it's called SN1 reaction. Here substitution happened for bromine to OH and the nucleophile is OH minus here. Since the important thing you should know is the carbocation is planar, so the product is always a racemic mixture. Racemic mixture means the equal combination of configurations. We will see very clearly the racemic picture. So here I showed how the racemic mixture is formed. For racemic mixture, to understand it better, the reactant should be chiral. Here I shown the cation, where OH minus can attack from above or below. Since it is planar, it can either from top or bottom, right? So the top attack lead to R configuration, bottom attack lead to S configuration. It based on the substrate, but you have the possibility of equal R and S or 50-50%. So the optical activity will be totally lost. So for SN1 reaction, the product is always a racemic mixture. Let us see SN2 reaction. SN2 reaction, the first step is the attack of nucleophile, which is OH minus, from the back side of the alkyl bromide. So what really happened is the carbon gaining the fifth valency, the OH attacks. Here it is a transition state which is imaginary, that's why we have 5 valency here. The second step, you have direct substitution of OH minus here. So the product formed directly here. So you can clearly see the slow step is involving both OH minus and alkyl bromide. Why it is very slow? Because carbon is gaining 4 valency to impossible 5 valency. That's why it's very slow. You can clearly see the attack is backside. Since it is a backside, you have always have the inversion in configuration. Inversion means R to S or S to R. We will see very clearly later. Let us see what is really inversion means. Suppose you are starting from the chiral molecule, which is R in configuration. You attack OH minus from the back side. So you get the S configuration. So if you calculate the R and S configuration, reactant is R, product is S. Similarly, the second molecule is like S configuration. When the OH is attacked from back side, you have the R configuration. So if you really calculate the configuration mean, you get S to R. It doesn't matter whether it is R or S, but you will always have inverse in configuration. Since it is a backside attack, you will have always inversion in configuration. Here I provided a trick because people are always confusing which is SN1 and SN2. The trick or acronym means short tip. Here you have to write ORT. The O represent 1, R represent racemization, T represent tertiary carbon. So SN1 racemization, tertiary carbon. Similarly tip, which is T represent 2, SN2 inversion and primary carbon. So you should remember the word short tip. It will avoid your confusion. It is a very best trick you should know. Then the very important thing, which is factors influencing SN1 and SN2 reaction. The factors are fivefold, which is substrate, which is the reactant, then the nucleophile, which is negatively charged species, then solvent, after that leaving group and neighboring group participation. Neighboring group participation is little bit advanced. Anyhow, you should know that. It is simple, you should know that. So let us see the substrate. What is really substrate mean? The reactant molecule, the alkyl bromide or any other substituted product or any other functional molecule. For SN1 you should have always tertiary molecule goes better, primary goes slow. Moreover, SN1 only happen in the planar cation. This example I given which no SN1 reaction because the planar cation possibility is not at all possible. So SN1 happens at tertiary molecule and planar cation. Then the SN2. SN2 always happen at primary. Why? Because there only the backside attack is possible. Because for primary the backside is very free, the molecule can attack. So it's sterically free. So here I shown the molecule where no SN2 reaction because the backside attack is not at all possible. So planar cation mean SN1, backside attack mean SN2. Next we will see nucleophilicity, which is very much important one because it has many varieties on that one. Normally the strong nucleophile mean more electron density, the dense negative charge. So obviously the more negative mean the neutral molecule always have less, positive charge is still very less. So the more negative charge gives more nucleophilicity. The second one is the high basicity given high nucleophilicity. Why? Because the basic molecule hold the negative charge much better. Here you can see that CH3 minus is the strong base, ammonia is next, water is third, and HF is very poor here because HF is the acid, so definitely conjugate base will be very poor. So basicity is proportional to nucleophilicity. The third factor influencing nucleophilicity is electronegativity. Electronegativity means pulling of charge, right? So if negative charge is there, the electronegative atom pull the charge, reduce the nucleophilicity because it reduces the charge density. So fluorine is the most electronegative, that's why it's slow, then oxygen, then nitrogen. So ammonia is the better nucleophile than HF. Then the bigger molecule has better nucleophilicity because of its polarizability. Polarizing means you are just dispersing the charge around. So iodine can polarize much better than fluorine. That's why iodine is better nucleophile. Then the solvent effect. Solvent effect is little bit confusing. You should know. Protic solvent means iodine is the better nucleophile in halogens. Why? Because the fluorine is most electronegative. What happened? Due to hydrogen bond, fluorine is very much screened. The right hand side you can see fluorine is very much screened, not available as nucleophile. So iodine is the better nucleophile in protic solvent. What happened in aprotic solvent or non-hydrogen bonded solvent? The fluorine is naked and charged, so it is very much unstable, it can attack fast. So gaseous phase as well as aprotic solvent, in halogen fluorine is the better nucleophile. So you should know protic solvent and aprotic solvent, you can switch the nucleophilicity. Then the leaving group. Leaving group means the starting material, you are leaving a particular group from the starting material. So which are all good leaving group here? Normally the self-stabilizing groups are very good leaving groups because you have to be independent, right? So they are better leaving group. The self-stabilizing means the resonance. Okay. Here I shown the sulfonic acid derivatives, which is tosylate and mesylate and triflates, where the negative charge can be easily rotate around and stabilize itself. That's why they are considered as very good leaving groups. Similarly, the neutral molecules are better leaving group, particularly CO2 and N2. CO2 and N2 is very neutral, moreover it has multiple bonds, so that it is very strong. Once it leaves, it never come back. Finally, the bigger molecules or weak bases are good leaving groups here because they disperse the charges much better. That's why they are very good leaving groups. So weak bases are very good leaving groups. Then the last one is neighboring group participation. Neighboring group participation is unexpected one, but it increases the rate multiple times, normally the 1000 times. So what is neighboring group mean? You have Ng, which is neighboring group, Lg, which is leaving group. The neighboring group molecule is normally very electron rich. What happens once the leaving group leaves? The Ng little bit compensate the charge here. So Ng is normally electron rich and it will help the leaving group to leave. Finally, nucleophile attacks and the product will form. Here I shown the neighboring group, which can be phenyl or halogen or oxygen. In rigid system, single bond and double bond can be. But simple thing to understand that the compounds have more electron rich property or better leaving groups. Let us summarize what we've seen. The summary here is the SN1 and SN2, what is really mean. The order represents the 1 and 2. The number of steps involved in SN1 is 2. SN2 it is 1 because all happen at same time, that's why it's constructed. So the number of step is 1. So the after nucleophilic attack what happened? Here the intermediate is cation where the intermediate is transition state. Then the favorable structure for the SN1 is planar. SN2 is non-planar system. Most probably backside attack is possible. What about product configuration? Product configuration SN1 it is racemic mixture. SN2 it's inversion in configuration. You should know the important tip which is short tip. 1. Racemic tertiary. 2. Inversion primary. Let us see the summary of influencing factor also. For SN1 reaction, substrate should be very planar and tertiary carbon. For SN2, there should be a possibility of backside attack or primary carbon. For solvent SN1, polar solvents are much better. Why? Because SN1 intermediate is carbocation. SN2 there is no charge involved, that's why non-polar solvent. For nucleophile SN1 it can be weak because charged cation can attract it. For SN2 it should be strong because it kick out of the leaving group outside, so it should be strong. Normally leaving groups are weak bases and self-stabilizing groups or neutral groups. That's all from me today. I hope it was useful. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestion, comment below.